Hello everyone, welcome to Prayogik Uno channel. In this video, let's understand what are floating input pins and how we can avoid floating inputs. So to understand how to avoid floating input pins, first let's understand what do we mean by floating inputs. So if you look at our previous example where we took this particular switch, so we had an extra resistor here which we used to pull the input pin to ground. So always the pin state, either it would be 0 or when the button is pressed it would be 1. Now the problem with this is just one switch, right? So let's say you want to use multiple switches like this, let's say 4 or 8 switches. Then what happens is your hardware cost or the PCB space, everything will increase when you use an external resistor. So let's say in order to optimize the design, you remove the usage of 10K resistor and you connected pin number 7 to the switch directly like this. So basically what you have done here is you have connected the ground point to one of the pins of the switch and the other pin of the switch you have connected to pin 7. So what happens is when you press the button, then pin 7 would be 0, or else you think that pin 7 would be high, right? So this is the situation which is going to cause a floating input pin. So let's see what happens exactly when you create the circuit like this. Now when you push the button, pin number 7 is connected to ground, right? But when the button is not pushed, then you can see that pin number 7 is not connected to anywhere here. So this actually is called as floating input pin. So there is no specific logic value at pin number 7 when the button is not pressed. So let's make this connection on the breadboard and practically see what are the issues we are going to get when we have a floating pin. You can see here on the breadboard, I have modified the circuit so that the bottom pin of the switch is connected to ground pin and the top pin of the switch is connected to pin number 7. So I have connected this circuit similar to the circuit diagram that we have here. Now you can see in the circuit with this type of connection, even though I don't press the switch, but I'm just touching the switch pins with my hand and it's picking random noise. So you can see here, so this is the problem which will be caused due to floating pins. So if you leave any input pin as floating, then the pin would actually catch any random noise and it would lead to wrong signals. So you would be reading wrong signals at the input. So even without pressing the button, it is catching random noise. So let's see how we can eliminate this problem without using an external resistor. So the Atmega 328 microcontroller, which is present on the Arduino Uno board, provides a very good feature which is called as internal pull-up resistor. So it is called as internal pull-up resistor. So what this means is you can actually through the program enable a pull-up resistor for pin number 7. So as soon as you enable in the program, so pin number 7 will automatically be pulled up through a resistor to plus 5 volts. So you need not connect an external resistor and pull it up to high. So by enabling the internal pull-up resistor, when the button is not pressed, our pin number 7 is at logic high by default. So when the button is pressed, automatically the pin 7 goes through logic 0 through this path. So this 5 volts through this resistor will be grounded by the switch. So when we press the switch, the logic value at pin number 7 would be 0, and when the switch is not pressed, the logic value at pin number 7 would be 1. So by this way, using the internal pull-up resistors, we can avoid the floating input pins. So always remember this, whenever you are using switches, you can eliminate the external resistor by enabling the internal pull-up resistors. So not even the switch, it might be any sensor which you want to interface with Arduino. So always keep in mind that what are the logic values of the sensor that you are interfacing and what happens when the sensor is not giving you any input. What is the logic value when the sensor is not giving any input? So keep this in mind while designing any circuits. So now let's go ahead and see what are the changes that are required in the program to make this work. So in the setup, the first thing we did was configure pin 7 as input, right? So instead of configuring pin 7 as input, there is one more value which we can provide here, which is called as input underscore pull up. So instead of just input, if you configure pin 7 as input underscore pull up, then you can see here this pull up resistor internally for pin number 7 will be enabled. That means as soon as you enable this pull up resistor, and if you read the logic value at pin number 7, then the value will be 1. Okay, so even though you have not connected anything here on the outside, after enabling the internal pull up resistor, by default the logic value at pin number 7 will be high, and whenever the user presses this button, the logic value at pin number 7 will go to 0. Now what you need to observe in the code is the logic is going to change. So in our previous circuit, whenever the button was not pressed, the logic value at pin number 7 was 0, and when the button was pressed, it was high, right? But now if you look at this particular circuit, it's exactly the reverse. So we need to just change this to low in the program. So now by default the logic value at pin number 7 is 1 when the pin is not pressed, but we need to check in the program when is the pin pressed, right? So that's the reason we have changed it to low. Let's compile this and flash the code and see how the circuit is going to work with these changes. Okay, so the program has been downloaded to the Arduino board. Now first let's see by touching the pins if there are any false inputs. So I'm trying to touch the pins now. You can see that the LED is not glowing and there are no false inputs, right? So since we have enabled the pull up resistor, we have avoided the floating input pin problem. Now if I push the button, you can see the LED glows twice as it was programmed. But the only difference with this is now we are looking for a logic 0 to identify if the button is pressed. So the previous circuit it was reverse, but in this circuit we are looking for logic 0 to identify whether button was pressed. So repeat this experiment at your end and get a feel of what exactly are floating inputs. So once you get this idea, and whenever you are designing any new circuits, this will always remain in your design process. If you feel this video was informative for you, please like our video and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching the video.